Hello everyone, I'm Shorty from Iron Resurrection, and if you ain't watching Rides Done Right, you ain't watching shit.
Good day, everyone. This is Greg Meyer with Rides Done Right. We're at the 2020 Salem Roadster Show, and I have with me Tommy Carr and Glen Jahnke, sorry. And he's got your 55 Chevy Nomad, right?
Yep.
And amazing car. It's been all over the place. It's won awards everywhere. At least I know in Portland and Reno and Sacramento, yeah. So all over the place. So it's an amazing car. Lots and lots of details. We've got pictures of this car. We'll show you that during the interview here. Tell us about the car. How did you get the car?
I have a couple of 55 two-door hardtops, and we kind of street rotted those, fixed them all up, got all done with them, and was looking for something else to do. And my son and I decided, well, we don't have a Nomad, so we went in search of a Nomad. It took us about a year to find one. We found one not too far from our home. We purchased it, brought it home, and my son and I was going to do the work ourselves, and we spent about 6 months. Took the car off the frame, had it dipped, in an acid tank, got it all clean, and we started doing a little work on the frame. And I was at a Medford car show, and I walked over where Tommy was at. I'd heard he'd done a good job, of redoing cars and street rotting cars. So I went over and I seen him, introduced myself, and told him what I had and if he was interested in doing some work on it. And he said no. He says, I don't do work on new cars.
New cars.
New cars. Yeah.
So I thought you were going to say that he talked you into it, but no, it sounds like you
he
approached
did.
him.
No, he
All
did.
right.
So I approached him.
All right.
He told me no, so I shrugged my shoulders and walked away.
All right.
And
Wow. You're just
I'm a
you're
bad
a picky
guy. I didn't
you're
know
a picky
that.
guy.
Okay, and it was about 6 months later, my son, he asked me, he says, why don't we give Tommy another shot? So, we really wanted him to do the car because we knew the quality of work that he did. So we went down to his shop, and at that point, when we were down there, I explained a little bit more in detail what I wanted, that I didn't want just a Nomad painted, back to a Nomad situation. So I wanted to, make it special.
Yeah.
And at that, he his ears perked up, and he said, "Where's your checkbook?"
I don't remember the checkbook
You don't
part.
remember?
No. But I'll tell you, when he first talked to me about it, I thought he was talking about restoring them, because everybody thought it was a sin to cut up a Nomad.
Kind of like Corvettes.
Yeah.
There's a whole
Yeah. So I wanted to do it, but I wasn't really passionate about it. But when Glenn started talking about some of his ideas and his feelings about the car, it energized me, because
Right.
I was really excited.
Well, that allows you creative freedom once he does. So
Yeah.
tell us about the car. What did you? So it sounds like you had taken it apart. So how did you get it?
They had it back on the chassis, and that was probably about it. It just needed everything. It was like a start over kind of thing.
From what
Yeah.
from all the details, all the things. It's hardly
Uh-huh.
anything you didn't touch, right?
No, yeah, we changed everything, and it was really fun. I really don't like building cars where the clients are not really involved. And Glenn lives just right by me. We didn't really know each other, but we quickly became like best friends. And he had lots of ideas, and sometimes I would go, I don't think so, and he'd just drop it. It was like he really liked my opinion. So and I did too. There were multiple things on the car that Glenn had major influence on too. So it was really a shared time. It took about 4.5 years to build the car. So he had to like me most of the time. I liked him most of the time when he brought over the checks.
The checks. So
You know, but-
it was. So he was over to your place a lot then.
Yes,
He was bringing
yes.
checks over.
We would meet for sure on every Thursday.
Every Thursday with a new check,
Every
right?
Thursday. No. He didn't get paid every 2 weeks. So,
Yeah.
but it was just every Thursday. That was a good day for me,
Yeah.
and I would swing by and take a look, see how things were going. Sometimes I'd drop by more than that during
Yeah,
the week,
yeah,
but
yeah.
generally on Thursday I'd go down and I'd spend a little time and talk about the different things. We've done this, and what do we want to do here, and kind of take it from there. And things just started to grow. When we first got into it, we didn't really know a lot about what we was going to do. We had a lot of ideas. A lot of things changed, and that's kind of where it went.
So there's so many things. I just know obviously the bumper turned upside down, tucked in. I like the side molding coming up into the headlight ring, and and then just a lot of stuff on the bottom. And so what are some of the major things that you
right at the beginning, turning the bumpers over was we really liked that. But usually, I had seen that done on cars, and they flip them over, but they don't do any finish to it. So we made all the sheet metal fit around, and made the upper filler part, and made a little air dam piece underneath of it. So it was far more than just flipping the bumpers. And then the back, it was like we have to do something to tie it in, make it like it. So we kind of came up with flipping that over, but doing more the bumperette thing, and it worked out really well. And then we Frenched the body around it a little bit more. But everything was, most of the build was, I get ideas in my mind. I can usually kind of see what I want to build in my mind, and it's not really hit and miss. Kind of a funny little story was that, like when we were doing the interior, I sketched on a pad what I had ideas as far as the seat and some of the things, and just a pencil. I'm not like Chip Foose or anything like that, but you could
Far from it.
You could get the idea, and maybe it might have a little stick figure in it or something. But what was really fun at the end of the job, because I still had that little piece of paper, and it had notes, it had phone numbers on it that he accused me of there were girls' phone numbers. And but anyway, I framed it and I gave it to him. Glen took us all to dinner, and we had a little time of sharing things, and it was really great.
Another one of the major features I saw on there was the dash. It's completely redone, and that's a major focus on the inside.
We took the second hump out on the passenger side, took that out, actually took them both out, and then rebuilt the driver's side also with all custom gauges in it. Probably, the one thing that when I went into this with a Nomad in my mind, I wanted a one-piece tailgate lift, because the Nomad is a clamshell tailgate originally. They leaked. I mean, they weren't that good. So I wanted to modernize this car. I wanted it to be like a new car, only still carry and look like the nostalgia of the 1955 Nomad. So I didn't want to change the body style, but just make it a little bit more modern. So we did figure out how to do to attach the lower and the upper, and with some help on digital rams and everything, Tommy figured out how to put all this together. So we with two dual actuators, and we do have a one-piece lift now. And then when we was working on that, Tommy said, well, why don't we do an electric hood also? So he designed the hood hinges, and we now have an electric hood. So
an electric gas door. We bought an aftermarket part to do that, but it took us probably about 2 weeks to make it work.
Oh, really? It's pretty short. I mean, it goes all the way.
It goes all the way open, but the stops and the way it shut was not good. So the aftermarket, sometimes it's a good thing because it gives you a start of something, but then you have to totally rework it.
Of course.
That's
why they call them custom.
That's the way a lot of the stuff went when he was building this car. It was living from day to day. we never knew what was going to come up next. So
Now, how long did that whole process take from start to finish?
4.5 years.
4.5. Okay.
Not counting the 6 months my son and I worked on it.
Yeah.
So about 5. So, all right.
Yeah, because I'm not really sure that was an ad. By the way, Glenn's building a truck now, and I go over and we have a few beers and I help him, but I mostly show him. I don't really do it. You know, he gets a snag, I help him. But it's so much fun to see him like going, now I know why it cost so much and it took so long. Shoes on the other foot now.
Yeah, you learn. You learn.
Yeah. I know. There's a lot
great.
going into it. Yeah, no doubt about
He's
it.
gonna have a lot of pride in it.
And that's what shows here is the detail. I mean, when you see that much detail, and it's so much of it, you know there's a lot of time. So so you had to write a lot of checks.
Right. They were pretty consistent.
Well, congratulations.
that's true.
It's a beautiful car. Oh, hey, I wanted to ask you about the engine, though. You've changed out the intake. It's a stack intake. Did you get all that going?
Originally, we had it with 3 deuces and a Ford 9-inch rear end under it, and we'd taken it to a lot of the shows, and a lot of people had seen it, and it was getting to be ho-hum. So we decided that we wanted to make some changes in it. So by doing that, we was at Hot August Nights. Tommy and I was one year, and we went into the big boys toy store, which we shouldn't have done. But in there we did see the Inglis 8-stack fuel injection. And so after talking to them and they're telling us how easy it was, let's do it. Well, it ended up not so easy. I ended up putting a new motor in because the motor that we had in there was not built for fuel injection. Had no vacuum, so we had to go back and just redo the whole engine for the fuel injection. And when we was doing that, we decided, well, let's do something with the suspension because it was a little rough riding. I mean, it wasn't like riding in a new car. So we took a look at some of the rear ends, and we ended up with a Kugel, all polished billet Kugel rear suspension. It's all independent rear suspension. So. The car was totally done when we had it. I mean, underneath the car is all painted, everything's polished. And here's Tommy under there with his plasma cutter, cutting everything out. I didn't think it was ever going to get back to normal, but this guy could work wonders.
I'll have to tell you a story on that, is that we talked about it quite a bit before we pulled the trigger, and I'd already talked to Jeff at Kugel quite a bit, and I took pictures of underneath the car, and I emailed them to him. So I get Glenn and I are on speaker talking to Jeff because I was concerned that he could see anything that maybe was going to be a problem, So when we call him on our phone together, I said, did you get the pictures? He says, yeah, I got the pictures, but I haven't looked at them yet. So he pulled them up while we were on the phone. There was a long pause, and then he said, are you guys blanking crazy? You can make whatever blanking you want out of it, but it started with an F. And he said,
funny?
He said, yeah, funny, yeah. He said to me, Tommy, I want one of our rear ends in that car, but he said, it's so beautiful the way it is, So it was a nice compliment, even the way that it was. And Kugel is a fantastic company to work with.
Oh, good.
Yeah, really good. We're doing a 57 now, and that was one of the first things we went to them.
So
Cool.
Thank you, congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck on the Emerald Award here. Being selected is an honor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good luck. I think you're right up there in the running. So that's it for this one.
All right. Thanks.
Catch you next, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.